Play ball! Blue 22, hike, hike, hike.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Oh, yeah. Got a lot of things we're going to be talking about today. Some shouldn't take very long to discuss. I have a couple of surprises for the Bry Man that he doesn't know exactly what I'm going to ask him, but we got some stuff, and I'm excited. So a couple of things that we're going to be talking about today. The unwritten rules of baseball. We are on that topic again, unfortunately, but the Bry Man and I will talk about that. We are going to be also talking briefly about the Republican National Convention that's coming up soon. And what a absolute, I'm going to say it, shit show that this thing is going to be turning out to be. And then we will get into a couple other questions, a couple other topics that I wanted to talk about. And one I just don't want to bring up to the Bry Man yet because I want his first reaction. Because as a fellow germaphobe, I want to know his honest response to what he feels about this particular topic. And that's what I'm going to get into first. And this is completely sorts talk. You said before the show that you were watching some old episodes of a podcast that we used to do called Cine Talk with the Cine Bros. And we did lots of episodes of that. You can actually find them on YouTube still. Cine Bros, Cine Talk, whatever you want to call it. It's on there. I was much fatter then, but that's not really what we're going to be talking about is my weight. We're going to be talking about AMC theaters and other movie theaters are opening up again soon, if not already. And, you know, AMC theaters doing this thing where they're going to be offering 15-cent tickets their first day and like all that kind of stuff, which is, you know, incredible promotion. But as a fellow cinephile,
yeah,
I just watched Murder on the Orient Express this past weekend, and I did think it was pretty good. I kind of guessed what was going to happen at the end. It was a couple of ways I thought it might play out, and one of them was the way. And I did basically guess the person that was going to be at fault. But I was like, it's either this person or this person. And it ended up being the one that I kind of thought. I was like, yeah. But anyway, it was an entertaining movie. But so, since you're a cinephile as well.
Yeah.
When will you feel like you can go back into a movie theater again?
Oh, that's easy. Not until there's a vaccine, and not only is there a vaccine, but a vaccine that's been out for a while, has a pretty good proven track record in whatever amount of time it takes. And look, as you know, and as I know you also are in the same boat, I can't take risks with my family. And I'm not one of those people that is going to shame somebody else for doing it. If you don't have a compromised person at home and, you know, you feel it, listen, it's going to be, it's individual for everybody, right? I mean, if you feel comfortable, go. You know, I would, even when it is safe to go back and even post vaccine, I mean, we still might be in an age where we're going to be wearing masks in public for a long time. I mean, that's just a possibility we need to face,
potentially,
whether it turns out that way or not. And I hope it doesn't. I mean, we all want to get back to normal. I don't want to be a mask wearing person for the rest of my life. If I have to, I will, but I don't want that. I think we all want to get back to some semblance of normalcy, right? But for me, so I can't put a timetable on it. It's just to say when we have a viable vaccine that is clearly working and is showing but even then, just knowing that there are a lot of anti-vaxxers out there, probably 30 to 40% of the population, essentially the same people who vote for Trump, I would say even then I'll wear a mask because I can't, just because I would have a vaccine and maybe it still doesn't mean I want to get it even in a mild form, you know? I don't think you want this in your body. I really don't. I think I've read enough stories to have a very healthy respect and fear for this disease. I actually got tested for it the other day, not because I was feeling bad, just because I have some medical procedures coming up on Friday, and before you could even step into a doctor's office, you have to get tested. So my test did come back negative. Yay. That was no surprise to me at all. I've taken every possible precaution you can imagine, short of wearing masks in my house. That's about the only step I haven't taken. And I know there are people who do that too. I mean, I don't know specific people who do that. I just know there are people who do that. Yeah. I haven't taken it to that level of extremity, but I would if it was really that bad. So yeah, it wasn't like a shock to me that my test wasn't positive, but at the same time, I was just like, first one that I had done. Pretty easy process too, by the way. It was a drive up. It was actually a self swab. So they give you the cotton thing. You put it basically all the way up into your nostril, swivel around each nostril 15 times, and then you put the Q-tip face down into the tube, and they seal it up, and off it goes.
Wow.
So, yeah, and I had the results the next day, which was pretty cool. So, yeah, to answer your question, I can't even imagine it being. I would say I probably wouldn't be in a movie theater in 2 years. And even then, I would probably wear a mask, depending on. Really will depend. I don't want to say definitively, but it really depends on the landscape of, where we are with the virus.
Sad,
and,
right?
Yeah, it's very sad. It's sad. But even like I said, even then, I can kind of guarantee I'll probably be wearing a mask. Just because there's just enough people that are anti-vaxxers. They're not going to get it. They can't force this vaccine on anybody. And you're going to have to be cognizant of the fact that you are 100% going to be in a movie theater with somebody who does not have it, who does not have the vaccine. I mean, so I'm sorry. I mean, that makes, and look, a theater is like a perfect breeding ground environment. It's indoors, it's enclosed. There's not good ventilation. And on top of that, you're sitting in a seat that somebody was sitting in before you anyway. I don't care how much they've cleaned that thing.
Lysol the crap out of it. No.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another thing too. Like, and I don't know about you. I don't want to be uncomfortable sitting. Like, I want to be able to enjoy myself sitting in a movie theater.
It was tough being uncomfortable about, with like just being in with all those sweaties that were in there before.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen some of the people we were in theaters with in the past.
Table 9?
Scary. Yeah, they are the mutants at Table 9. And look, I want so desperately to get back to a regular lifestyle where I can go to a baseball stadium or any kind of sports arena, go to, I want to do all that stuff.
I was actually telling my wife, I was like, I miss grocery shopping.
That
I miss grocery shopping because I used to go a few times a week and I would pick up fresh produce and fresh, all that kind of stuff and be able to get I wouldn't have to go like once a week because I have flexibility of my schedule, and I was able to go a few times and I could get fresh meat and fresh, all that kind of stuff to have like these good dinners.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore.
Well, I mean,
my wife is the one having to go because she's already out of the house, from work and coming home, and she'll pick stuff up like either a pea pod or whatever, and they'll throw it in the back of her car, and like you get some stuff that you didn't, or you don't get the stuff that you really wanted, like.
Instacart has been good. Instacart's been good for us, mostly because you're basically virtually with them as they're going around the store picking up all your shit, and you're able to chat with them.
Really?
They send you pictures. Yep, they can send you pictures of what's on the shelf.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So I told Melissa, even when this is over, she will go back to a grocery store. I know she will, because she's not as quite in love with Instacart as I am. I mean, I think she thinks it's a good service, but I don't think she thinks it fully replaces the grocery shopping experience of, just being able to move around the store and see things with your own eyes. Yeah. Which, I mean, that's hard to argue. Yeah. But I told her in true Quint life jacket style, I'll never go in a grocery store again. I just don't see the need to. Not with Instacart. I'm like, first of all, there's a couple of reasons why. One, you pretty much have access to, so for us, it's Stop and Shop, Big Y, Price Chopper, Aldi, BJ's, CVS.
I haven't even looked into Instacart.
There's a lot of things that you actually have access to. I pay $9.95 a month for their Express membership, which basically means there's no delivery charges. So they eliminate the delivery charge. Mm-hmm. The only thing you have to do is tip if you want to. I mean, of course you do. I mean, how could you not? It'd be really fucked up if you didn't. Because I do like a 20% tip, I think. But I'll tell you what. The fact that I don't have to get into my car, put miles on my car, put wear and tear on my car. I'm a terrible driver to boot, so I risk my life every time I step foot in my own car. Just because I'm terrible behind the wheel. I have a horrible attention span. I swerve all over the place. I mean, I don't drink very often either. So like, you would see me swerving and you would think, oh, that guy's definitely under the influence. And it's like, man, I haven't had a beer in a couple of months. So I'm just a bad driver to begin with. So I'm taking away, like I'm losing the risk of being behind the wheel, which is good for me and for other drivers, more importantly. And also, I'm saving a lot of wear and tear and gas on my car. Like my car over the last 5-6 months just has not had that many miles put on it. You know, like I'm probably going to add years to my car just with eliminating things like grocery store trips. And dude, this is the same thing for like, we get dairy delivered to us from the farmer's cow. So we get milk, eggs, we get, they actually sell like all kinds of different, lemonades now. They have, you can actually get produce from them. You can even get paper towels and toilet paper from them. And they'll deliver all that stuff. And their ice cream is ridiculously phenomenal, which unfortunately I don't eat ice cream anymore either as part of my very strict diet, but we get all that stuff delivered too. And they have amazing ice cream, and, we get everything delivered right to the door. It's just, dude, I think this is going to change me permanently in a lot of ways. I really do. I don't think I'm going to be quite the same in terms of going to, same thing with Walmart, especially because Walmart delivers everything. The only things that I miss as far as like going out, again, I do miss movie theaters, and I miss going to the mall with the kids every now and then just to go to Yankee Candle, Bath and Body Works, all that crap that we like getting. And then I miss going to sporting events and, you know, autograph shows, stuff like that. And those are all things that I have to really think about. Is it worth it? You know, long term. Well, more short term, really. Because in the long term, I would like to believe 5 years from now, we'll look back on this and just say, wow, that was a really rough couple of years. I hope that we get to look back on it that way.
Yeah. We'll say it's a couple of years, but ultimately, hopefully it's only 1 or 2% of our life, which is.
But I hope a couple things come of this. One, I hope that we learn some significant lessons from this. More in the vein of how not to handle things as opposed to how to handle them, because let's be honest, this has not been handled well. And I think that's because, for the most part, the adults are not in the room right now, and that's a big problem. And I also think that Americans have a very unhealthy arrogance about them. We think we're invincible. We think we're the best. There's a lot of Trump. Believe it or not, there's a lot of Trump in a lot of Americans. There really is. We are brash, brazen, and you know, buffoon. We're buffoon. We're the 3 Bs there.
Yeah.
Brash, brazen buffoons. I mean, we really are. We are arrogant. We're sloppy.
The killer bees?
Those, and they are the killer bees. I mean, and it's not just the 1972 Dolphins defense, man. It's our current life. And that scares me, dude. I mean, it really does. Like, we've learned a lot about this country over the past 8 months, and how much of you've seen it happen. I mean, you've seen, like, there's that it's not just one example. There's multiple examples of like guys who are like, oh, this is the flu. They go out, they get it, and they die.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it happen. It's literally happened. And yet you still see videos posted every day of people partying, dancing on college campuses.
It's crazy, and it's crazy.
We've learned a lot about this country in a very short amount of period of time, and it's not good.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot of not good.
It's been bad. And I was actually listening to a comedian. I don't know if you know who he is, Mark Normand. He is hysterical. I'll send you a couple clips of his. All right. But he's been doing this thing called, I think he calls it trailer park comedy now, where he goes out to parks.
Yeah.
And they like set up a little stand for him. Yeah. And he goes out and just performs at the park instead, like, an open air. And people get their lawn chairs, their chairs, and they sit away from people, and they can all kind of social distance and everything like that.
Yep.
And he just goes in there, and he can be very crude, like very crude. But like, and so some people we see get up walking away and stuff like that. And he's got some new material, like based on the coronavirus and all that kind of stuff. And he was talking about how Dr. Fauci, he's like, this guy, he's like, the groundhog around Groundhog's Day. He like pops his head up and you're like, oh no, he's back. Another 6 weeks of coronavirus.
That's funny.
So yeah, he's a funny guy. I really like him a lot, but he's got so much stuff.
I think I think his name is Brent Terhune. Terhune or something like that. He's great. Oh, yeah? Because he basically plays this Confederate redneck, fat country guy. I mean, the first time I saw him, I was like, oh my God, this guy's really, he's a total Trumper whack job. Yeah. It's parody. Yeah. It's all satire, and it's hilarious. Wow. It's hilarious. Like just some of the way he says stuff, like, instead of every one of his things, instead of saying he gets off on a tangent and he wants to say I digress, but he says I digest. And he's got this like that backwoods hillbilly country accent, and it's great. It's really funny stuff. Like it's one of those things where I feel like I'm actually shocked Trump hasn't retweeted it yet, because I feel like Trump wouldn't know that this is satire against him. But he wears this great Mike Pence howling at the moon t-shirt while he's doing it and stuff like that. And dude, you got to watch some of his videos. I think it's Brent Terhune, Terhune. And so many people get fooled by him that there's, you go into like the comments and people are like, people who think he's, a disaster and he's an asshole. Yeah. And then you get other people correcting him and say, oh, you just got Terhuned. Yeah. Because they don't get it. Like, they don't get that this is satire, because it comes off as almost being legit, But when you really listen to him, and it doesn't take much, just listen to him and you're like, oh, okay, he's like the
Stephen Colbert from the Colbert Report.
He's completely goofing on people. Yeah. I mean, it's really good. He's funny. That's a funny follow. And I think he does a good video a week or so. And he's current. He makes it current, It's just awesome. Very, very funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, I highly recommend Mark Normand. You remember Terhune?
I think it's Brent Terhune. Yeah. Okay. I think it's Brent. BRENT.
I've been watching some. There's this other one too, and I can't remember what her name is. She sounds like Mrs. Doubtfire. Sarah Milliken, I think her name is. She's pretty funny too. I think you'd like her as well.
Shania Doubtfire, dear.
It's like exactly what she sounds like. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much. And I think she does it. I think she gets a little bit higher pitch to kind of play on that a little bit. But she says some crude stuff too. And it's pretty darn funny.
Back in the day, I used to do an okay Mrs. Doubtfire imitation.
I think that was pretty good.
You Shania Doubtfire, dear.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Solid.
Yeah. I'd have to got it.
All right, so now let's get into, since we talked about the AMC and talked about some other things, I want to get into something.
Oh, by the way, is AMC still going to not play Universal Pictures? What's going on?
We'll see what happens with that. I think that's all a bunch of garbage.
That was all bluster.
Yeah. So we will, let's get into the next sorts topic. We're starting off sorts today because there's not a ton of sports to really be talked about. I do want to get into.
Oh, there are, but
I'm going to get into a tidbit of NBA because first round underway.
Yeah, excited about that. But
It's not too exciting, but
some upsets, some early upsets.
Our boy D. Lil had a game, shot,
Yes, he did.
sunk a nice 3 from like 700 feet.
I highly doubt he sunk the Lakers because I would probably still guess Lakers in 6.
Oh, Lakers ran in that. Absolutely. But regardless, I am also excited to talk about this unwritten rule stuff.
Yeah.
The unwritten rules in baseball, and you have Soto, who looked at a home run a little too long, and Fernando Tatis, who hit a 3-0 pitch out of the ballpark when they were up by 7. We'll get into that in a little bit. All right, so I want to talk about, as a Republican, not me, you.
Ashamed one. But yes.
I know. With the way that it's been going as of late. You know
what? I don't want to say a really disappointed one.
Right.
Very disappointed in what the Republican Party has become especially over
the good news is that it's going to be hard to not do better than this next time.
Yeah, you would think the odds are in your favor. How could it be worse?
I know.
I guess the way
So, I've heard this. I haven't really completely fact checked this, but I have heard that, is it true that the couple who were standing outside of their house with guns, pointing them at protesters, are going to be speaking at the Republican National Convention?
Yes, that is a fact.
Are they going to follow the My Pillow guy?
Oh God, that was so great. Did you see the Anderson Cooper thing with him?
No.
Anderson Cooper. Look, I'm not like the biggest Anderson Cooper fan, but there's other guys on CNN who I like much more. Like I love Don Lemon, and I admittedly guilty pleasure like Chris Cuomo. I don't know why. He's a complete nerd, but I like him.
Yeah.
But Anderson Cooper had him on, called him a snake oil salesman, and he also asked the My Pillow guy, "How do you sleep at night?" And I was laughing hysterically. I'm like, sorry, that's just funny.
Yeah.
You just asked the My Pillow guy how you sleep at night. That's funny.
That is funny.
That's a good line. He slipped it in there pretty, subliminally. It was like in the heat of a battle exchange there, and he was just like, "How do you sleep at night?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" He just asked.
He was sitting on that. He was sitting. He was just waiting for it.
Completely sitting on it, and it was so in a way forced.
Yeah.
Even though it was like he kind of slipped it in there, and it seemed natural. He had that in there.
Oh, that was in there.
He was waiting to pull that out of his arsenal.
Yeah.
That being said, it was still hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I would have been, funny enough, I would have definitely slipped that one in there too. But it wouldn't shock me though if the My Pillow guy was going to be a speaker. Yeah. Look at who they trot out for the Democratic National Convention, right? The Democrats and I'm not a Democrat, but let's be honest. They got my guy,
Kasich,
Governor John Kasich, former Ohio Governor John Kasich, to be one of the speakers. And I looked at what he did, the video, and he's literally standing there at like a crossroads. Mm-hmm. And so here's what I say. Here's what I think I said. I don't know if it was on Twitter, but here's what I'll say about what Kasich said. It was a little too vague and very non-specific for my liking. Mm-hmm. It wasn't as detailed as I would have liked it to be. However, the overall sentiment that he covered is right. It's spot on. He's basically said we're in a battle for the soul of America, which, we've heard many times. But that is true. We are. We are in a fight for America's soul right now, and it's not trending positively. And so but that just goes to show you though, the Democrats are getting actual Republicans, real ones, not racists standing on their front lawn pointing guns at protesters. They're getting actual former and current, I think, politicians to speak on their behalf. That's how bad this presidency is. And I'm not just saying it because it's John Kasich, and John Kasich was my guy, and he's the guy. Listen, if you've listened to our show and you know me at all.
You voted for?
Yes, I did 4 years ago. I did not like Hillary Clinton. I did not like Donald Trump, so I wrote my vote in 4 years ago. Now, I'm not doing that this year. This year, it's Biden all the way. And this will be frankly, I want to be honest with you. I hope it's the only time in my life I ever vote for a Democrat. But I also see no choice.
Right.
So just in case, because I know there's people out there who are Republicans thinking, you're just a sellout and a turncoat and you're not loyal to the party. I'm loyal to the country. That's where my loyalty is. I am loyal to this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I have said in the past, I'll be the first to admit it, and I don't particularly like eating crow, but I will in this case. I've said in the past that I could never foresee a situation where I would pull a blue lever in my life. I just could never see it. And yet here we are, and I can't think of a more logical thing to be doing in a couple months. So it just goes to show you how bad this is. And if you're really a Republican, like a real Republican, and you think that this is normal and acceptable, you're not really a Republican.
Yeah.
This is not, I'm sorry, these are not the values that the Republican Party was drawn up with. Okay?
This is so crazy.
Donald Trump is not the blueprint for Republicans.
The presidency is just crazy. I mean, he's like, so they're trying to do the whole, mail-in poll and everything like that during a pandemic. It's brilliant.
Doing to the post office is just.
And you have, I think your brother, works for the post office. So, and you have, we have a guy, Stick, who also, I mean, this is affecting people that we know.
It is.
And
my brother told me this is like the first time in his 25 or so years of working at the post office where he's actually like kind of been a little bit scared.
Yeah.
For his job.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's one of those things. It's like, I mean, I was watching Fallon the other day. And like he came out and he was like talking about how like Trump is like an evil villain in like a Bond movie where he like explains the plot out before and just keeps talking so long until like the good guy like gets away. And he's like, I don't understand what he's doing. He's like telling us that he is going to like, basically defund the postal service so that they can't vote. So people can't send in mail-in votes, so he doesn't lose.
No, Mr. Biden, I expect you to die.
Yeah, he's like, crazy.
He is. What's scary about that is he's telling you, like you said, he's verbally telling you, like a villain, the entire plot and the scheme, and yet we don't do anything about it. I mean, how is he in office still? There are so many questions I have. It's just, and now like, you're even starting to see some Republicans try to retreat from him, which I think is just a total fucking sham too, because Lindsey Graham specifically and Mitch McConnell specifically, they've tried to Homer Bush into the, Homer Bush. They've tried to Homer Simpson into the Bush. I combined Homer Simpson and Bush, and hey, we got former Major League Baseball player Homer Bush. I tried to, he's tried to Homer Simpson, like they've tried to Homer Simpson back into the Bush there now. Yeah. Yeah, Lady G and Mitch, Moscow Mitch, and I remember like I called them out. I called out Lindsey Graham this morning because he was lauding and praising and complimenting Jill Biden last night, and how great she is, and I'm like, no, it's too late for you, Lindsey. I'm like, we all know who you are. I'm like, you sold your soul, and for who? For what? For Donald Trump. That's who you sold your soul. You sold out for that guy? Shit. You could have sold your soul for George W. Bush, and I wouldn't have questioned that. But you sold your soul for this dude? No. No way.
Lots of people have.
No way. You do not get a reprieve from that. So.
Good times. Good times. So yeah, I mean, there's between that and the Postal Service and everything that's going on, it's just.
Post office is bad. That's bad. That's a bad situation. It's really bad.
And then like FedEx and UPS were basically like, no, we can't help out with that.
Yeah. You know what I don't understand?
And the Postal Service has been so huge. I can't imagine. You know what that's got to probably do? If they get, I mean, it's not going to completely hurt them. I mean, because they're the biggest company in the world, but it's got to hurt Amazon. Sure. The U.S. Postal Service delivers so many packages.
But that's part of Trump's motivation. He hates Bezos, right. So this is part of his. Yeah, it's all tied together. Right. I mean,
and it's gotta hurt them. But like at the same time, does Bezos step in? Like, what can he do?
I don't know.
Can he donate money to the government? I'm sure. There's got to be a way to do it.
No. Hell, his ex-wife has half of his money now, though, so who knows?
She could probably do it.
They both could. Maybe cooler heads could prevail. And they could just both say, "Hey, listen, for the betterment of Amazon, if you want to make sure I keep giving you money,
Yeah.
too late. She got everything that she was going to get anyway.
Yeah.
But you said
A
it.
lot.
You just said it a second ago, without even knowing it. You called it the Postal Service, and that's what it is. It's a service. Remember, the post office is not a business. It's actually a service. It's not actually even technically meant to turn a profit.
Right.
The post office was not designed with profits in mind. It's not a business. It is a government service. And when you work for the post office, that's a government job.
I wonder if they can I don't know, detach
Donald
themselves from it
Trump-
and turn it to a business.
And Donald Trump, primarily because he hates Jeff Bezos, I think, well, maybe not primarily, but it's certainly part of the motivation, wants to defund the post office. He wants to get rid of the post office.
You know what? I bet what if like Bezos comes up with a proposal to purchase the U.S. Postal Service and turn it into a business off of Amazon, basically buy that business from the government. Trump will be like, I need $42 trillion for it. That's what it's worth.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
But you're not willing to put any money into it whatsoever.
Even though the post office has been operating in the red for years.
Yeah.
And like all this money that they've been,
He's like Dr. Evil from Austin
all
Powers.
this stimulus money that they've been, asking for, like $10 billion would almost, I think, get the post office back to like even, maybe more. I'm not sure how much. I don't know what the number is, how much they're in the red, but
it's crazy. It's crazy times. All right, let's get into something fun. Unwritten rules of baseball. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you guys are watching or listening. If you want to post it live during the show or after the fact.
By the way,
let us know what you think about AMC opening. If you're going to be going to the movie theaters anytime soon, let me know what you guys think, and also how you feel about what's going on at the Republican National Convention.
I will be watching that, by the way, just because I want to see. Listen,
You're into
guilty.
You want some drama?
Guilty as charged. I am a train wreck watcher. I love train wrecks. I do. Mm-hmm. I do. It's very unhealthy, but sometimes you need it. It's almost like a break from reality.
It makes you feel better about yourself.
Even though what's scary is that it is reality. But watching Trump and watching the Republicans, the way they operate now, it's like a break from reality. It really is.
Yeah.
I don't want to say.
Like I was texting with you last night. You were talking about Hard Knocks and how you like it, and I'm like, talking about the drama.
It is, yeah. I love Hard Knocks,
and it's like it's a lot of fun.
Show.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I will watch it. I will tune into the RNC just because it should be, like you called it earlier, a complete and total shit show. It really should. It should. This will have all the makings of just like reality TV meets real world problems and just big bang right in front of you, right on the TV. Should be tremendous. They really should. That is must see TV.
It's craziness.
It really is.
Good stuff.
I can't.
Everything.
For all the wrong reasons, I can't wait to see it.
All right. So unwritten rules.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Juan Soto hits a home run. Very calmly watches it.
Yeah.
And then runs around the bases. Gets yelled at by, I think it's Will Smith. Yells at him. Doesn't like it. Yeah, not like Big Willie. The pitcher, Will Smith, yells at him as he's walking around the bases. And Soto decides to go even slower.
Yeah.
So anyway, that happened. And then also the phenom, Fernando Tatis Jr. hits a home run. What?
Oh.
What'd you say?
Sorry, you said the phenom. I said the Undertaker.
No.
It's one of his many nicknames.
Yeah. So hits a home run on a 3-0 pitch when they were up by 7.
Yeah.
Hits a grand slam.
Yeah.
And gets yelled at.
Yeah.
For being young and stupid and not knowing the unwritten rules of baseball. And I have to say about both of these instances, shut the hell up. These unwritten rules baseball where you celebrate and hit home runs and grand slams, which are super exciting. You know what? If you are there and you have a 3-0 pitch and you're young or you're old, you don't know how many grand slams you're going to hit in a long time in your career. There are people who go their whole career and don't hit a grand slam in Major League Baseball. Granted, Tatis Jr. is a phenomenal athlete, and he's going to probably hit several more in his career.
Yeah.
But with that being said, those are 4 RBIs that are added to his total that help with negotiating in the future. That's another home run that helps to negotiate in the future. That is just beast mode.
Yeah.
It's not his fault that you're a bad pitcher. And you decide to just lay one over. Well, you threw 3 balls, got yourself way in the hole, and then you decided to lay one down the middle. And you know what? He made you pay for it. That's your fault. Not his. That's yours. Mm-hmm. Don't be mad. Don't be pointing the finger at other people because you stink. And made a bad pitch. Take it easy. It's these things. And Soto hit a home run off of you. You know what? He could celebrate it any way he was. You want to celebrate? Strike him out next time. Make it fun. You don't have to get all upset because somebody, yes, you can get upset, but be mad at yourself, not at the person who's happy for himself. He's not out there looking at you, pointing at you, going, ha ha, you stink, I'm great. He's not doing that. Right, he's running around happy for him and his team that they just got another run on the board. Yeah. Not because you stink, because he probably has somewhat of a respect for you because you're in the major leagues as well. That is one of those things that I just don't understand. I don't understand the celebration and why people can't celebrate great things and good things. These unwritten rules, and it's so many people. Can't have nice things in 2020. Shane. Johnny Bench has come out and said, this is great. Ron Darling, these are all old school players. These are players from the 80s
from
and
the 70s and 80s,
that were hard nosed and they didn't have the free agency thing going on where you have players bouncing around from teams all the time.
Yeah.
And they are saying this is great. That one's a pitcher, one's a catcher.
Yep.
And then even Buster Olney has come out on podcasts and been like, dude, just let these people have fun and enjoy the game and spread joy about baseball so people talk about it. Not in a negative way about the unwritten rules of baseball, which nobody even in clubhouses really talk about anymore.
Yeah.
So how can they be unwritten if nobody knows what they are? If you're not talking and educating, that's what I think it was Johnny Bench that might have been saying it. I can't remember if it was Johnny Bench or Ron Darling. One of these older players, that played a long time ago, was talking about how these rules used to be talked about with the players. They'd be like, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And you would be educated by the older generation. Well, that started to slip away as time went on, and people don't really talk about it anymore. So if they don't talk about it, how can you be educated? And then Fernando Tatis, I loved Trevor Bauer's tweet. I don't know if you saw it about this. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think I retweeted it.
So while you're doing that, I'll weigh in. We're reading from the same book here. We're on slightly different.
I got it. Ready? Real quick.
Okay,
go
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Tatis Jr., listen up. 1, keep swinging 3-0 if you want to, no matter what the game situation is. 2, keep hitting homers, no matter what the situation is. 3, keep bringing energy and flash to baseball and making it fun. 4, the only thing you did wrong was apologize. Stop that.
Yeah.
And I agree.
It's a good tweet.
I agree. And I don't typically see eye to eye with Trevor Bauer because he's kind of a crazy person.
He's a lunatic, but yeah.
And he is. I think he's a Trumpian. I think he used to be. I don't know if he still is.
Oh, really? I would be shocked if No, I don't think he is.
He used to be.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
He was trying to get his whole Cleveland Indians team to vote for Trump.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
That's what I don't know if he does that. I don't know if he's still,
I agree with the tweet.
There are
but,
some people
yeah.
that are out there that, have voted
That
for
would
him and be like,
actually
oh,
make
wow,
me-
he just totally
that-
didn't do anything that he thought he was going to do.
That would actually make me feel good because I've found myself agreeing with Trevor Bauer a little bit too much lately, especially when it comes to the Astros and now this. So I really don't want to agree with him that much, especially if he's a Trump guy. So, so anyway, yeah. Here's where I'm at. Let's start with each. Let's start with the Soto one first. Actually, no. Tatis first. So, first of all, do you remember back in the year 2000 when the Mets were down 7-0 to the Braves in a National League Championship Series game and they came all the way back? The point is, 7 runs is not an insurmountable lead. So while I'm with you here on the whole, joy of baseball, we shouldn't try to be sapping any of that from these players. I'm also looking at it sort of pragmatically from the sense of, well, 7-0, a game is not over. I don't care what fucking inning you're in. Baseball games are never over. They're just not. We've seen enough quality hitting and bad pitching to know that 7 runs is not insurmountable.
We've seen double-digit leads slip away.
Yes, we have. Didn't the Yankees come back on the Orioles? Like, wasn't that 9-0? Like, it was 9-0, right?
Yeah.
9 times.
There's no lead that's safe. There is zero lead because if anybody can put up 15 runs in an inning, that means it can happen.
I remember once, I thought this was funny because it was right. But the Yankees were up just enormous in a game. They were up double digits in a game, and it was like in the 9th inning. And they were saying something about, so they were showing one of those StatCast things, and it said, this was before the game had ended. And it said the Yankees had a 100% chance of winning the game. And Michael Kay was like, well, that's not accurate. He's like, I mean, yes, the Yankees are going to win this game, but that's technically wrong. Like, that's statistically speaking, that is not right. The game's not over. The game is not over. How could they? He's like, if you want to say they have a 99.9% chance, fine. That's fine. He's like, but how can you actually say they have a 100% chance of winning this game until the final strike is until the final out is made? You can't. You cannot. I'm sorry. You're literally alive until the last out is made. So, and that's how I feel about this Tatis Jr. thing. First of all, let's break it down in another way. So that's one thing. One, I don't believe a lead is ever safe. So I have no problem with him swinging 3-0. Here's the other thing. 3-0. Look, you're up 7-0, which means you actually are in way more of a driver's seat to be able to swing freely on a 3-0 pitch when the bases are loaded. I think that's actually smarter than swinging 3-0 with the bases loaded and you're in a tight game. You know what I mean? So, like, my full feeling is, okay, we're playing with house money here because we obviously have a pretty substantial lead, even though the game is not over, but we're playing with a pretty big lead. This guy is clearly going to throw a cookie. Why would I not take a hack at it? I have to. What is the problem? What is the problem? Now, look, in general, am I a big fan of swinging on 3-0? No. I always, for the most part, I don't want to say regardless of the situation, but in most cases, I would say I'm pretty much in favor of taking 3-0. I'm just damn crap. I mean, I don't know about you. I generally used to take 3-0 even when I played at whatever, even at the small levels I ever played at. I generally took 3-0. I don't know about you. But I never looked at that as a unwritten rule. Like, oh, it's 3-0. You're not supposed to swing. No, fuck that. If you get a good pitch, swing at it. I don't care what the count is. I'm just generally not a huge fan of swinging on 3-0 just because you never want to take yourself out of an inning where you could maybe do some damage. But listen, once the count gets to 3-1, then, everything's out the door. But even then, on 3-0, if you're up 7-0, bases are juiced, and you get a fucking meatball, why not? Why not? Fuck the unwritten rule. Fuck the unwritten rules. First of all, I don't even like that phrase. I hate that whole phrase of unwritten rules because to your point earlier, if they were that important, they would have been fucking written. So I just am not a fan of that. Now on the Juan Soto thing, I'm kind of like half and half with you. So there's the part of me that does not like watching home runs and taking your time and enjoying the view. There's a part of me that doesn't like that. However, I also enjoyed very much last year Madison Bumgarner yelling back at, I forgot who that was. I don't even remember who that was. I just remember Madison Bumgarner yelling at the guy and telling him to fucking round the bases. So the way I see it is like that cuts both ways. Mm-hmm. If you want to showboat, okay, that's cool. But I'm cool also with the pitcher yelling at you too.
Right.
I'm like okay with it either way. So like on that one, and if you had asked me this like a handful, maybe 3-4 years ago, I might have said, I'm not really a big fan of the showboating. But listen, it is clearly part of the game. It's clearly part of the younger energy that is brought to the game by the current players. And I love a lot of these current players. I literally was actually looking up 2 nights ago, like trying to decide if I wanted to get a Fernando Tatis Jr. authentic jersey, because I like the Padres New jerseys a lot because they're way better than anything they've had in years. So since like the Tony Gwynn days, and I have a Tony Gwynn jersey, and I love Tatis. He's just, how could you not like him? I mean, he may be one of the most likable young players in the game. And then I looked at the price tag on some of those authentic Nike jerseys. I was like, we're going to hold off on this. But because it was like a $300 something jersey. And I was like, yeah, no. But listen, when it comes to that kind of stuff, like, and Juan Soto is right there. He represents that youthful core of baseball that they're going to own the game someday if they don't kind of already. I mean, the guy's already a world champion and he's barely legal to drink. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of these guys. I love their work. I love the way they play the game. I love the energy they bring to the game, the joy, the passion they bring to the game. I'm fine with them showboating. I'm also fine with a pitcher yelling back. I think that's fine too. I just don't have an issue with it. I would say I'm 100% with you on the 3-0 thing. That's just dumb. The unwritten rules thing in general to me is pretty dumb. Mm-hmm. I'm even okay with stealing bases, late in innings if you're up big, because again, I look at it the same way. The game is not over. Right. So fuck it. The game is never over. If you've played, even if you haven't played baseball, but if you've played baseball, I don't know about you, but even when I played in many games where we were either down big or we were up big. But I remember specifically in the games when I played on teams where we were up big, always in the back of my head thinking, don't let your guard down. Don't get comfortable. Don't feel like this is over, especially in youth sports where it's sloppy and kids make errors all the time, right? Yeah. But I think that's healthy too. Like that's a healthy Yogi Berra-esque, it's not over till it's over kind of attitude. Like you should never assume something is a done deal. Do you think not in the bag until that last out is made?
Do you think Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos are like, no, I got so much money, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to let it go.
No, and that's why they're multi-billionaires.
Right. Because their game's not over.
Yeah.
Their game, their money game ain't over. I wanted to, you were talking about how, the home run hitting you didn't particularly love, where he kind of lollygags it around the bases or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it,
but you also like when the pitcher comes out. See, and that's where I'm at. Like I would like both. Yeah, go ahead, be a pitcher and yell at him. That's fine. Sure. But just don't yell about how don't yell at him like unwritten rules. Don't do that. Say, you know what? If you're going to do that, if you're going to walk around the bases like that, you better watch out. You're not going to get on base anymore. I'm striking you out every time, or I'm going to bean you.
Or I'm going to hit you.
Yeah, something along those lines. Do that. Don't say.
Right. Don't cry about
be like, unwritten rules. Like, that's stupid.
Don't give the Joe Kelly face. Yeah. No Joe Kelly face.
That's stupid.
But, see, and I love the way Mad Bum did it. And listen, am I biased towards Mad Bum? Yeah, 100%.
I don't know exactly what he said. I don't remember.
He's a man's man. And
he's not doing great this year.
No, he's not. Well, he's older. I mean, he's a legend. Listen, I don't care. What that guy has done is legendary.
Like 10 years younger than us.
He is, as I have dubbed him, the legend of the fall. I will always believe that he is just an absolute, like, just an October monster. Mm-hmm. And I love the guy. I love his attitude. I fucking have a Madison Bumgarner ornament on my Christmas tree. See behind me. That's how much I love the guy. And I love the way he handled it. Like, round the fucking bases, dude. But but you know that he wasn't saying it out of unwritten rules shit. He was saying it like, all right, fair enough. I'm going to fucking put one in your bat between the numbers next time. Cool. I like that. I like it. I like that. I like that balance. And listen, like I said, probably a handful of years ago, if you had asked me this, I would have been like, I hate it. I hate the showboating. And I don't know that I would have cried about unwritten rules. I think because I don't know, I guess just the way I played the game myself, I always had a healthy respect for the opponent, a healthy, even like a little bit of fear, because I hated losing. I was always afraid of losing. And
that's understandable. You can be afraid of losing, or sad when you lose, or mad when you lose, whatever.
But that was the problem with me. Although I had a good balance.
Emotions are good. That's what I'm saying.
I had a good balance when I was young.
It's good when people like Mad Bum yell at the other person when they're doing something and they have a bit of emotion, because that adds fuel to a competitive game.
I think it's good to have like an equal,
a yin and yang
sort of balance between fear your opponent, have respect for them, but also when you win and when you have success, enjoy the moment. Don't just be relieved when you win. Be joyous when you win. But a little of both. The best example.
Winning, hitting a home run is winning. You won that at bat.
The best example I think of that for me was back in 2000 when the Yankees won the World Series. And I remember that final out when it settled into Bernie Williams' glove in center field, even though it looked like a home run off of Piazza's bat. I remember literally crumbling to my knees and crying, and they were tears of joy and relief, because that World Series was so stressful. I could not stomach the thought of losing to the Mets. I actually just kept thinking, like, of all the World Series that you're going to win, it's got to be this one. You cannot lose to the Mets. And if they had lost to the Mets like subsequently or in years after, it would have sucked, but it would have never been as bad as losing that first. Like if you had lost the first World Series to them that the two teams had ever played, that to me would have been a real epic fail.
The Brian can't hear this, but he even celebrates when his team just drafts the right people as the quarterback.
Yes, that's very true. It's true. There was a lot of that's a good example too. There was a lot of relief and joy. It came out as joy, but there was a lot of relief in that. I hear it. I can hear it. It's so loud I can actually hear it. I can hear myself screaming, "Yeah, yeah, yeah!" I can hear it. No, I hear it. It's yeah. Oh, there it is.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You know what? I enjoy watching that. I really do. I really do. I haven't popped off a couch that easily in years.
Are you sure wasn't spring loaded?
No. There was legitimate joy in that moment because the Dolphins had finally gotten something right. They finally did something that I wanted them to do, which is rare. It just doesn't happen that much. So
I can't imagine the celebration you did when, there was that. The Dolphins got that fumble off of the Patriots and scored. Was it Drake? Kenyon Drake? What did he do? He returned a punt or something?
Oh, the Miracle in Miami.
Yeah.
Well, I have an autographed picture of that.
Yeah, I would imagine that you probably
went. Gronk falling down.
You probably just went just as bananas, if not more.
I mean, it was literally like 2 days later where Fanatics and Fans Edge and NFL Shop they all put up that picture, and I got the 16x20 of Drake breaking away from Gronk as Gronk is falling to the ground, and it's autographed by Kenyon Drake, and it's on my wall. I bought that without hesitation, and immediately framed it. And Kenyon Drake is gone now, and
but the memory lasts.
I got a like from Kenyon Drake on Twitter not too long ago because he had put out a tweet asking for good, like, quality black owned restaurants in the Phoenix area. I just did an article and just pulled up an article on research, and I responded with the article, and it had like a top 10, like black owned restaurants in the Phoenix area. And I said, here you go, sir. Miss you in Miami, keep killing it in Arizona. And he gave it a like. I got a like from Kenyon Drake.
Very nice.
I love Kenyon Drake. I miss him. He was such a good player, good guy too.
Underused.
It's a guy that, well, he was so good. He was remarkably underused by Adam Gase. And what shocks me about Flores cutting him is that Brian Flores is a guy who just, I mean, if you're a Dolphins fan, ad nauseum, the one term that you hear come out of Brian Flores' mouth is versatility. It's his favorite word. And I can't think of a more versatile guy.
He's a versatile guy.
How did he not fit?
He can run, he can catch, he's fast.
How did he not fit everything that you wanted to do for your team? He fits your mold to a T. Mm-hmm. He is your mold. That's the mold. That's a good drop right there. That's the mold. It's not quite
play that
Tom
every
Brady.
time I eat some blue cheese.
It's not quite throw a floppy dick onto a field when Tom Brady's on it drop.
Oh,
but it's,
man, I gotta get all those back, huh? I gotta put all those
mold.
back in the sound bite.
That's the mold.
Good times.
I'm laughing at myself.
Good times.
What a pathetic loser you are.
So yeah, I was looking up some tweets about Trevor Bauer, and he said there was a point where in 2017 or 18 he like admired Trump. Why? I didn't look at the article. I don't remember, but like I remember him saying that he was a Republican as well. But I don't know. But then he redeems himself because he gets in a fight with Curt Schilling on Twitter, and then after that fight, Curt Schilling.
That makes no sense because Schilling is clearly a Trumper,
right? But he got in fight, so I don't know what exactly started the fight, but that fight got Curt Schilling to delete his account.
Oh, did it? Wow.
Back in the day.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
That's hard to believe. Schilling is such a big mouth.
Right.
Even Red Sox fans do the Homer Simpson into the bush when they hear about Curt Schilling nowadays. It's kind of hard not to. He's a terrible person.
Yeah, he's
and a liar to boot. I mean, I'm sorry, the fucking bloody sock.
Yeah, he's an interesting human, for sure. So yeah, there was a whole. I'll have to send you the tweet that I found. I don't have the whole thing because obviously Curt Schilling deactivated his account, but like the little screen cap that somebody put up on Twitter is fairly amusing. He seems like he's just kind of like trying to get under his skin. Trevor Bauer did a good job. Curt Schilling was very upset.
Trevor Bauer is a lot of quirk there in that personality.
Yeah. All right. So that's pretty much it for our show today. I don't think we have anything. Oh, we have the Karen of the week. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, there was also one quick mention. Oh, I'll get to it as we go on. But yeah, let's do the Karen of the week. Oh, and let me tell you, she's a champ, this one.
Oh, really?
So this is in San Francisco. And this was just, I think, yesterday. I'm going to read you the article because it will do it. It's just a little probably clearer than I'll be able to say it. But so this is from the San Francisco Examiner.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So woman filled lobbing racist comments and taking down playground blockade at Dolores Park is the headline. So she's unidentified. I do not believe there's a name at this point. So a woman angered by coronavirus-related closures at Dolores Park was filmed wielding a pair of scissors and lobbing racist remarks at a park outreach worker on Sunday, according to a Facebook post. The woman tore down the blockade of a children's playground at the park, which I believe was the Helen Diller Park. According to the post by Andres Patino, a public outreach coordinator with the San Francisco Recreation and Parks Department. The play area is currently closed due to COVID-19 health orders, according to the Recreation and Parks Department spokesperson Tamara Apperton. The unidentified woman told Patino the rope and signs blocking the Helen Diller playground at Dolores Park were unconstitutional and an unlawful taking of public property. Don't you dare shut this park. We paid for this park, the woman said in the video. Let's see. She says, go back. Then the racism came out. So the woman in the video then began directing disparaging remarks at Patino, who was born in Colombia and moved to the U.S. at the age of 9, and used what appeared to be a racial slur. She go back to wherever the hell you came from. Stop trying to steal the property we paid for. And then he said of the woman, no one else should have to deal with your behavior here in San Francisco or anywhere else, labeling her as a Karen, a pejorative referring to middle-aged white women perceived as entitled. I love that definition. Yeah. Even in our liberal city of San Francisco, this is happening, and it's up to us to say, no, Karen, bye. So
here, you ready?
Let me do. Oh, you got the video.
Yeah, you do that. This is an unconstitutional, unlawful taking of public
Please do
property.
not approach me with the scissors.
You don't like it?
Please
Please
do not
do not
approach me.
approach me with the
You don't-
scissors.
I'm not chasing you, you dumb sheep.
Okay.
Go to the hospital. Tell them to put you on a ventilator. They'll kill you with a ventilator like they're doing thousands of others. Don't you dare shut this park. We paid for this park. You don't get to take our property. We paid for it. You little migres. Go back
There
to
it is.
wherever the hell you came from.
Wow.
Stop
You know
trying
what?
to steal the property we paid for.
I'll
Go
give her
back
credit,
to
though.
Wherever you came from, this is our property. You don't get to take it.
Just kept going. I'll give her this. She rolled the R very nicely on Nigris.
You want this?
God, what an asshole.
Your scissors and yourself in the park.
Okay.
Okay. You know what my favorite part is, though, too? There's a couple things. One, oddly enough, no mask, but she's wearing gloves. Now,
She doesn't want to get her hands.
I get, yeah, maybe it was a moisturizing thing. I don't know. Yeah, maybe she had.
Maybe
I don't
like,
know.
the rope is kind of fringed or something like
Oh,
that. It
sure.
might cut her hand.
She didn't want to damage her hands. Maybe that's
She's
it.
got garden shears, so
Also-
maybe she was doing some
also-
gardening.
Opposite of what Ron Burgundy would have told Lanolin, maybe wear a bra next time.
Oh, God.
Please. Please. Oh, dude, that was like one of the first things I saw was like those floppy titties just like so far apart. And I was like, oh, you look just gross, man. Put a fucking bra on. Oh, God. They were just like out. They were out there just bouncing around. And it was like, okay. You know, and normally as a red-blooded male, I don't mind seeing a nice pair here and there, but Jesus Christ, lady. But she was walking at him with scissors. And she's like, I'm not, you sheep.
Yeah.
I'm not coming at you, you sheep.
Put you in a ventilator and kill you.
Put you on a ventilator and see what happens. They're already doing it. I know I'm going a little too heavy on that. She didn't really have a southern accent.
Yeah.
But she's a beauty, huh?
That was interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, these Karens.
I want to keep I want to try and come up like every week with like a catchy name for them. Like this is Playground Karen or Karen in the Park. I actually think is how I would go. Karen in the Park. She's something though. She was something. Winning.
Classy lady.
Yeah, they all are. All of them.
Classy with a K for Karen and
at the end of the year, I will do a Karen of the year.
Karen Mount Rushmore.
That's a good too. Well, yeah, you know what we'll do? We'll do a Karen Mount Rushmore, and then we will do a Karen of the year. So like the Miss Universe of Karens.
Do we have to wait for the coronavirus to be over to do that? Or
No. It's just of the year.
Of the year, okay.
Listen, 2020 has just been a disaster, so we might as well but I mean, I see no reason why we won't be able to do this every year for the very foreseeable future. Because I think Karens are a thing.
Poor women named Karen.
I know. You do feel bad. I mean, what did they do to earn that? I mean, it's just a name. You got saddled with the name. Now, I think the best thing ever would be if there is a Karen out there who really is a Karen. That would be great. Like, I don't want to see a Karen who's just like normal. I want to see one of these be actually named Karen. Like, if this chick's name was Karen, well, then she's already going to win Karen of the year.
Yeah.
But I doubt it is. Although I have an early horse in the lead for Karen of the year.
Ooh.
But it's one that
There's
we've
some
already,
good ones.
Well,
It's got to be the one that like fought with the glass at the bar or something.
The zombie Karen. Yes, she is my leader in the clubhouse. But there are still 3.5 months of this year to go. She's my leader in the clubhouse though, just because she's my favorite.
I don't even know if this one shit. She probably wouldn't even be on the Rushmore. This one.
No,
she's good, but I don't think she's great. I don't think she gets into the Hall of Karens.
Remember, there's 52 weeks in a year, so just because you're the Karen of the week doesn't mean that you're going to be a Karen of the year candidate. Yeah. And no, she wouldn't be. She's not even on the Rushmore.
We'll have to do like a poll on Twitter or something like that. Like
I think-
when we get there, like who's the out of the 4 candidates that are,
I
because we should do the Rushmore first, right? And then
Yeah.
do the Karen of the Year.
I'm also very partial to the original Karen, which was the first Karen in the park. That was Karen in Central Park. This is Karen in Diller Park. But that's why I actually may refer to this one as Playground Karen, because I think Karen in the park is the original one. The one who choked her dog and was racist towards the black guy.
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, I can't remember her actual
Did we
name.
actually put that one on? Or did we, was that before we started Karen?
I think it was
Did that
so
spark?
early that I think that sparked the Karen revolution. But she may not actually be like the actual first Karen. Like, I don't know if she's like Dracula, like the first vampire, but she's definitely.
So she's not like the George Washington who founded it, but
yeah,
she might be George Washington as far as really solidifying the Karen.
Yes, So, like, I can tell you, Zombie Karen's definitely, like I said, she's my leader in the clubhouse for Karen of the Year. But again, a lot of people might not say that was even a Karen, but I think it was. But she's referred to as Zombie Karen, so I think it counts. But and this is again, so I try to name the Karens. I think Charlie's Angels Karen she's up there too. Now, you may not know who that is just on that, but you will know who it is when I tell you who she is. Charlie's Angel Karen is the Karen that's going to be speaking at the RNC. I call her Charlie's Angel Karen. Because if you look at some of those pictures where she's got the gun, it looks like a really bad, it's like a fat middle-aged white woman Charlie's Angel pose. Yeah. But like when they show her with the gun, like I hear the Charlie's Angels music playing in my head. It's bizarre. She's up there. She's definitely up there. And now
do you think that guy was Charlie?
Nah, he wasn't even Bosley. Fuck him. He's a nobody. Charlie. No, because the Angels never saw Charlie. He would be at best Bosley, but I'm not gonna. No, I don't want to insult great Bosleys like
you're gonna
Bill
insult
Murray
the Angels
and
though?
Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac was such a great Bosley too.
He was.
I miss Bernie Mac.
He was great in Ocean's 11.
He's great in fucking everything. He was even great as the car salesman in Transformers.
He was good in what was that movie with Zoe Saldana and Ashton Kutcher, where he was the father? Like Ashton Kutcher was dating Zoe.
I don't know.
I can't remember what it's called. What is it? Mr. 3000. He was in that too.
Yeah, Mr. 3000. Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah,
he was good.
He was.
I didn't particularly love his comedy, his stand up. I didn't particularly love it. It wasn't extremely relatable for me. But at the same time, like his mumbling, like it was funny, but like it kind of lost its charm for me. But in the movies, he was great.
Yeah, I love him in movies. Yeah, I don't know that I don't know if I've seen any of his comedies, but any of his comedy shows. But I mean, as far as movies, I loved him.
I watched a bunch of like.
He was just one of those guys. He was one of those guys. Whenever I saw him, he just made me laugh.
Oh yeah.
He just found a way to, and I did like him in, like I said, I actually really liked him in that second Charlie's Angels movie. I thought he was a good Bosley.
Yeah.
He brought a lot of, like his humor brought joy, I think, to movies, which is, that's not like
he had a great smile.
He did. Yeah. I think that was part of it. Like, cause you can watch a movie now and see a funny guy and it might make you laugh, but I don't know that it necessarily brings you a great deal of joy to watch.
It's like, some people when they like smile and they're happy, it just like brings you joy. Like when, another one that died way too soon, Tommy Boy himself, Chris Farley, he was just like happy and like you were just kind of like, oh, so playful, like so happy.
It's the same thing. It was very similar, similar in terms of their style.
Yeah,
that made you not like laugh at and with them, and that's
or like Bill Hader, like when he broke character, and because he was laughing and you're just so happy, like
it was a joygasm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Hader's a good one too.
And then there's some of those guys, like even like Colin Jost, who's like when he's like doing his stuff and like him and Michael Shea are kind of going back and forth, and he just kind of like he's just got a great smile. It kind of just makes you like, it just, it's those things that like,
because Colin Jost knows he's living the best life ever, and it's hard for him not to smile. Jesus. That guy's got everything. And I mean everything. Good Lord. What a life. What a life. Colin Jost is one of those guys where, like some people say, like, I don't want to live forever. Colin Jost is probably like, I want to live for as long as many years as God will give me on this earth. Yes, I will take them. I want all the years. Like Colin Jost is one of those guys literally searching for the fountain of youth.
Yeah. Like
he's looking for Ponce de Leon right now. That's Colin Jost. Because he just wants to live forever. And I can't blame him.
So yeah, so some people just have those smiles, those, that the joy in them that you just kind of.
Yeah, Bernie Mac was definitely one of those guys. I just liked watching him act. I liked, he made me laugh and smile at the same time. And those two things don't necessarily go hand in hand.
Right.
Not all the time with comedy. I'll give you an example. Like Steve Martin. I laugh at his movies. I think they're funny. I don't know that like, it's not the same. It's not the same kind of, like, he's great. The guy's a great comic. Right. He's one of the all-time great comedians. Mm-hmm. Jerry Seinfeld, I would say the same thing. Not a lot of joy in it, but he's funny as hell.
Yeah. I actually like him on Comedians of Cars with Coffee. I like him on that better than I like his stand-up.
And that might be more like a relatable thing too, because in a car, and so it's more of like a normal kind of setting too. But there are clearly,
I just think he's funnier. I think he's funnier, just like just off the cuff.
He might be the funniest. He might be the funniest guy alive.
I think his stand-up routines aren't that great. I've only liked like one of them, but I find his conversation, like his legit conversations, smart, witty, and hilarious.
Now the way
that he thinks is just
another great example, especially in movies and his comic stand-up, Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, especially in Beverly Hills Cop, not only was it funny and the dialogue was great, but he made me smile throughout that movie. I mean, his laugh. First of all, his laugh is just. I mean, that is like the best fucking laugh ever.
It is.
Ever. And with him, there's that joy that also comes with the comedy. Mm-hmm. But like, again, I'll give you like Steve Martin, Jerry Seinfeld, great comedians. Not the same. John Candy though? Oh man, come on. John Candy. Dan Aykroyd too. And I don't know if Dan Aykroyd is a stand-up. I don't know if he ever did stand-up. I don't think John Candy did either. But so they may not be like the best examples.
Which is like in movies and actors, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're more, but still, and but some of those other examples though, like on Seinfeld. I mean Seinfeld again, a lot of acting. He had his own show, and he obviously was is one of the great stand-up comedians ever. Mm-hmm. But I think he's funny. I like him. I laugh at his stuff. I don't get that joyousness though that comes with a guy like a Bernie Mac or a Farley or an Eddie Murphy. I mean, it's a different kind. It's just a different special something that those guys have. Oh, by the way, speaking of movies, because I know I had put this not on any list, but just in our text. Mm-hmm. So if you want to rent in 9 days, the Bill and Ted movie, it will be available in 9 days for rent.
Excellent.
On the 28th. I think I will probably buy that. I think I'll rent it. I think I might. I did watch a couple of movies if you want to. I'll give very, very brief reviews on. I finally got around to watching well, no, hold on. Let me do this one first. I watched So You Should Have Left, the Kevin Bacon with Amanda Seyfried in the kind of weird haunted house.
Okay.
And I love Kevin Bacon. But just didn't do a lot. It was okay. It really was. Kind of predictable. Very predictable, actually, I should say. I don't know. It didn't offer anything different or unique or distinct that stood out to me. It's just like, okay. I mean, they could have never made this movie, and we would have been all the, fine. Nothing would have changed in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was all right. I would give that, if I was a Cinebro, I'd probably give it a 4.5.
Wow.
And I love Kevin Bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Love him. He alone was not enough to carry the day in that movie.
Pretty terrible. I wonder what it did Rotten Tomatoes.
Probably not that good. I will say, however, I watched Ford versus Ferrari. Finally got around to that.
Good.
That's a fucking good movie.
How exhilarating was that last hour? And they're just driving around a track.
Awesome. Yeah. Sad though too. Obviously.
It's sad, but it's exhilarating. Like you're just kind of like you're on the edge of your seat, and they're just driving.
Yeah.
The way that they got that, your heart pumping and emotion with that is just incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I hated the ending for a couple of reasons. One, the fact that he died. Two, the way that he allowed his teammates to catch up to him, and then he didn't even be the one to actually, quote unquote, win the race.
Yeah.
Very, very upsetting. I was so mad about that.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I mean, but that's all part of it, right? So, but still, great movie. And honestly,
it's a great story.
Honestly, you could not have picked two better guys than Damon and Bale for those roles. They were perfect. Perfectly cast. I like Christian Bale's wife. I can't remember who she was good too. Mm-hmm. His kid was good. Mm-hmm. It was just really well done. The guy who played, well, it wasn't Henry Ford, but his son, right? Henry Ford's son, the owner of Ford at the time. Mm-hmm. He was good, kind of a dick.
Oh, yeah.
But that scene when he gets him in the car and he basically shits himself. Yeah, it's just that was awesome. That's a great movie. That is a great movie. And I will be honest, it wasn't a movie I was really looking forward to watching.
I've been talking about that forever.
I didn't have a huge expectation for it, but man, that movie delivers. That's a good flick, dude.
Yeah.
Check that out if you.
It's very good. Very, very good.
And so Ford versus Ferrari, I would say, yeah. For You Should Have Left, I would say you should have left it alone, or you should have let it be.
The Ford versus Ferrari, if we were gonna, definitely see it. Definitely, I bought that. I would, buy it on 4K, whatever way you can get it, just buy it.
I'll give that I'll go 8.5 out of 10. It's just a great movie.
Yeah,
maybe 9. I mean, it's up there.
I say buy, complete buy. That's what.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I've seen it.
That's a classic.
I actually was going to buy it, and then it showed up on I don't know, Stars or HBO or Cinemax or something, and I watched it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Jesus, this movie is fantastic. Yeah, really good.
It was amazing.
Really good.
Fantastic.
I'm actually wearing my Solo Star Wars hat because I actually Solo is actually, I own it, first of all, but it's actually also been on TNT the last couple of nights, so I've just been kind of watching it in bits and pieces. And
it's a good movie.
I still think it's great. I still think it's really great.
I think they've been trying to come out with the second one. I think they're thinking about it. I know that Kenobi starts filming next month.
Isn't that awesome? Mm-hmm. Now, wait, is that a movie or is that a...
No, that's going to be on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, right?
Like The Mandalorian.
Which is actually, you know what? If I had to choose, I'd actually rather have it be that.
Yeah, you get more content.
You get more, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And pretty high quality.
And you're getting Ewan McGregor, so... Which was probably... I mean, look, if we had to say, what were the best things to come out of the prequels... It's got to be Ewan McGregor. He's got to be the first, right?
I say those movies are underrated. I will always say that. They're not great, but they are highly underrated.
In some senses,
People bash them.
Well, it's easy to.
It is, but they're not that bad.
No, they're not. They're not. You're right. They are not.
There are some incredible scenes in those movies.
Yeah, I actually think. I think in was it Revenge of the Sith? The third one. Mm-hmm. I mean that fight scene between him and Hayden Christensen at the end is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon Jinn and him.
Darth Maul was great, and Darth Maul is still alive, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you find it out in this movie. That's where you find it out, which was great. That was great at the end to see that.
And then you also have what else? I mean, as far as I actually like all of them. I like the fighting scenes with like Yoda.
I think Qui-Gon was a great thing to come out of it.
Yeah.
I think Liam Neeson played the shit out of that role. Obvious. If you had to say the best thing, in my opinion, to come out of those is clearly Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. You could not have handpicked a better guy.
I like General Grievous. I liked it all.
Grievous was great.
Yeah.
The way it was.
Yes, they had Jar Jar Binks, and yes, it was terrible, but a lot of movies have their faults, and that was just unfortunately one that they sprinkled in quite a bit.
You know what I wonder is if the original Star Wars movies, as they are currently constituted, had been released in the modern era, how would they have been received? I'm not so sure that they would have been received as well as they were back in the 70s and 80s. I don't know. I'd like to think that they would be, because they still hold up.
Some good acting in it.
Oh no, it's not a question of the acting. I think it's
Luke was not a good actor.
Well, no, he was not. No, you're right.
Yeah.
But to me, it's more
Carrie Fisher and your boy Harrison. They really carried that with that, and even Lando Calrissian, like
sure, Billy D.
He
obviously
did a good
job. Alec Guinness.
There was, but Luke was
classically trained actor.
It took him a while to learn some acting chops.
Yeah, he was way better by the second and clearly the third one. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say way better, but he's better.
Yeah, no, you're right. He wasn't great, but there was enough star power around him.
Oh yeah.
In other bigger roles to be able to kind of block out his. He was young too,
Yeah.
Hey, at least we know if they ever remake if they do a Luke movie and Sebastian Stan is Luke, we won't have to worry about the acting chops.
I agree.
That's got to happen, right? I mean, just on looks alone. I mean, you hate to literally judge a book by its cover, but my God.
But when you have a good-looking book like that, and underneath that there's some chops in there, get it on.
Why wouldn't you?
He's not getting any younger.
No, I know.
Although I guess you would probably do a Luke around that age too. So
yeah, sure, why not? Still relatively
frisky with
young, though. What, early 40s Luke? That's still like prime Jedi Luke.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, man, and they've been playing Rogue One a lot too. God, I love the Darth Vader appearances so much, and I just love that scene at the end right before it transitions into New Hope. Oh, where he's just slicing and dicing his way through that ship. Just the best. That is awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's almost like with that, you'd almost like to see a reboot. Just to see like the skill level that they have now.
Well, one of the big things,
the way that they can actually, film.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you're right. But that's also been one of the things I've seen that. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that question posed on Twitter is, if you could just pick one of these, which would it be? The Kenobi story, Lord Vader, Darth Revan or Revan or whatever it is, Revan. What would it be? And I'm always like, dude, give me the Lord Vader. I want to see Darth Vader in his prime killing. Like evil, twisted and evil just after he becomes Vader. I mean, because there is a big gap there that we don't know about. Mm-hmm. Between the moment when he becomes Darth Vader to Death Star, there is a monster gap of unfilled content that exists. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a rhetorical question. I know I'm right. So, I want to see that gap filled. That's what she said. But I definitely
see that gap filled. Totally.
I want to see. Dude, you could make another trilogy just on that, and break it up by 5 years each one, and still have ground to cover.
Sure.
There's a lot. There's a lot there. A lot. Well, we've come to the end of our program, and in the words of the great, I don't know why I dropped an octave there, but in the words of the great Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end, and we have reached the end of this show, but we'll be back probably Monday. I hope, maybe.
Good chance.
Hopefully I get some good news at the doctor, and I'm not woefully,
One like equals one prayer.
There you go. Yeah, there we go. Thanks. Yeah.
That's what all the young kids say nowadays.
I am hoping that both of these procedures are precautionary, as
too.
they have been told that they are, but we won't really know until I wake up. So,
So if I'm here by myself on Monday.
Yeah. That means I'm just like, wallowing in my own pain and.
Brian, man.
Sucks.
We will kind of sort of keep you abreast of the situation.
Yeah.
With the Brian man.
Yeah.
If he's not here, we won't just be like,
he's dead.
Rip Brian man.
Died. Oh, unless I
That
don't
would be
wake up
terrible.
from anesthesia, which
That
is
would be
possible.
terrible.
I've never been under anesthesia, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I've been
Melissa-
under lots of times.
My wife has too, and she kind of, this is the way she explained it to me. She's like, okay. She's like, here's how it's going to go. She's like, for you, it's going to be an IV. She's like, because they're doing an endoscopy and going down your throat, it's not going to be a local or an oral. She's
Right.
like, so it's going to be an IV.
Yeah.
She's like, you're going to be laying on the bed. And she's like, they may or may not ask you to count backwards, from 5 or whatever. She's like, but you're going to blink your eyes. And then you're going to say, okay, are we ready to start the procedure? And they're going to say, we're done.
Yeah,
You're
we're
awake. She's like, that's what it's like. She's like, and then of course, it's accompanied by some serious grogginess and, she's always like, yeah, she's been through it so many times though, that I think she's kind of gotten acclimated to like the post awakening part of it, where she's just, it's a little like groggy, but it's not like, horrifying. And my brother said the same thing. He had to do it once and he was like, yeah, he's like, I was just really groggy for a little while. He's like, but it's not that bad. So how was yours? How have yours been?
Yeah, it's
Pretty
much
uneventful.
that. That's pretty much how it goes. Like
Yeah.
it's,
She's
count
like,
backwards from 10, and then
Right.
you get to like 7, and you're gone.
Right.
And like you
And-
wake up and you're like,
yeah. And I just,
is it over? And then you kind of like look around, like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
over.
and then like
and then you're just kind of like out of it for a while.
She just was like, it's a second for you, and it's however long it takes for them
Right.
to go up your ass and down your throat.
Title.
Oh my God, you win with that one. Up your ass and down your throat. Holy shit. That is the winner. That is the ultimate winner of title of your sex tape. Up your ass and down your throat. Wow. You did it. You did it. I don't know how, but you did it. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty.
Whew. All right.
The Libyans.
Thank you for thank you for watching. If you didn't, hope you watch. Share it with your friends. Enjoy this
Maybe.
with us as we do more Karens of the week. And you can follow me on Twitter at Einhorn You can find the show at Shane and Brian Man on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Shane and the Brian Man. And you can find me on Instagram at Happy McAvoy.
You can find me on Twitter at _Brian_man. I don't want you to follow me on oh wait, what did I say? Did I say Instagram? No, I
No, you said
at
Twitter,
the-
right?
on Twitter. Okay, I don't want you to follow me on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't really need that. I don't post anything that interesting anyway. The occasional selfie of me with like a cartoon mask on or something. So nothing that special.
That's cool. Cool.
Thanks to the 2 people that we had watching today. Really appreciate it. Now 1. So, Christ, that could even be me. I don't even know. Might be thanking myself at this point. I'm not even sure. We don't do this for you. We do it for ourselves. This is our escape from,
2020.
but I am putting this out there though. If everything comes back clean and I'm good, as a celebration, I want to play golf with you very soon. Yes. I want to do a golf celebration. And soon.
Sweet.
Because I know what's going to happen. If I wake up and they're like, hey, you're good. You've got indigestion. We're going to treat it with this. You're going to be fine going forward. I'm going to be so happy. And I'm going to be like jumping for joy because I'm not dead. And I'm going to be like, and I know, because I know the way my stress and anxiety and the way it impacts my body, I know I'm going to feel instantaneously better. and I'm going to be ready to, like, you know, move mountains. I know it because that's how I was last time when this happened 8 months ago. And I walked out of her office and she was like, yeah, you've got dyspepsia. I'm not even going to give you either of those things. I'm not giving you a colonoscopy or an endoscopy because I've heard your story so many times and I know exactly what it is. And sure enough, I walked out of that office feeling instantly better, like literally instantly better. And I know how my body reacts to stress and anxiety, which I'm learning a lot about. Scary. As a public service announcement, I want to tell people, take stress seriously. It's legit. It impacts your body probably in ways that you think that you're not stressed. Like, that's the worst part about stress for me is, like, I try to compartmentalize each thing and I say, okay, is this really that stressful? Nah, not really. It's not. You think that. You do, because you always want to tell yourself that you're impervious, right, to this stuff. You're not. The second when you even have to start grading and rating and sort of, like, you know, reviewing your stress, you're already at a point where you're stressed.
Yes.
And you don't even, you know, so, like, you know, you think about all the things that you have going on. For me, you know, the things I have going on in my life, you know, my wife, my mother-in-law, COVID, my own personal stuff. And so, you know, all of those things, right? And I'll even try and examine those things, like, one at a time, put each one into its own little space and say, okay, can I deal with this? Yeah, I can. So is it really that stressful? No, I guess it's not. But the truth is, you tell yourself that. But the moment that you have to start telling yourself that is the moment you already know that you have a tremendous amount of anxiety. And I do. And I've never dealt with it well. I've always, you know, had somewhat irrational fears about my own mortality. But you just don't think. You just don't think stress. Like, I was used to be one of those people who was like, yeah, stress doesn't really bother me. But
Right.
It does. It's horrifying.
So
anyways,
stress sucks.
Yeah. So anyways, bye. Have a good week. Stay classy, Planet Globe.
Peace out. Peace out. Bye.